to go. I'm sorry I couldn't show you Xanarkand. Goodbye.
Hey!
We're gonna see you again!
Yuna!
I live in an apartment, and I can't hear any of my neighbors except for the guy right behind me, because I think we share a bedroom wall, and he's either laughing really loud, or he's like, I can't even say it, just like really crazy expletives, like he's really angry. I'm thinking he must be playing some kind of game, and he's just like, I've never heard him say like campers or anything, so I don't know if he's playing some kind of Call of Duty type game, or like League of Legends. He's always really angry though, or laughing like a killer, so yeah. I've never seen this guy, so maybe.
Okay, so on that note, that's related to video games. So that's
I'm assuming he's a gamer, so.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be a good start-off point. So,
right, because epic rages are.
Yeah.
Rafael, what number are we at? Well, the last time we did one of these was like 7 months ago.
Ooh, 7 months ago.
What number are we at?
Wait,
6?
no, I'm on it.
No, we're not at 6. I think we're at 7.
No,
7 months
oh
ago.
my god,
and we're on 7?
Pokemon of the Week, is that still a thing?
That's still a thing. Although it hasn't been a thing in a while, but we need to get back to that. Now that you're back, Ciara, we can do that. If you want.
That
We are on
everything
7.
crashed.
6, yeah, 6 was the last
Yeah,
one
it is
posted.
7. Who the hell is that?
6.
I'm not even in that. Who are these people?
Okay, let's not worry about those people in the past. That is the past. Like, this is the present. Ciara, say hi.
Hello.
Hi. You haven't. Where did you go?
The past is the past, Paul. We don't talk about the past.
Yeah, it was just used to be Ciara used to be one of the main hosts, and then she kind of like Bruce Wayne, she just kind of disappeared for a long time, and I don't know what she did or where she went, but now she's back.
I don't know what I did or where I went either.
Yeah, but now you're back, part of the site.
It was a journey of self-discovery.
Alright, so Ciara is back finally. Rafael, you're still here.
Yes. And I can say I'm no longer a writer, but an editor.
You're still right sometimes.
fancy.
Yeah, but you know, the title editor.
And then Evan, you're here. You're new since the last time we did a podcast.
This is true.
What do you do now on the show? Introduce yourself.
I write a lot.
You do.
And I also pop in and edit some articles, formatting usually.
Everybody's better than me.
Well, you haven't been here in so long.
Yeah,
so
and you're the host. No one's better than you.
Well, you've got a cooler name than I do anyway.
Please.
Ciara.
Please.
Yeah, you have the name of a video game developer.
Exactly.
That
Alright, so let's
means
get the show. Let's get the show going because Ciara needs to leave in like 30 minutes.
I needed to leave like yesterday. But
You need to leave
Okay.
yesterday. All right, so we got a top 10. We got to talk about. We have Evan. You're going to talk about your Final Fantasy Explorers review.
Okay.
Then you want to talk about an article you wrote, a feature on Final Fantasy music,
Sure.
which is going to be cool because that's going to give me a chance to play a lot of Final Fantasy music in the background.
thank God I dodged that bullet.
And also, who should start the top 10? I think I'm going to have Evan start it off because you were the only one here who actually took part in that top 10.
Okay.
The top 10, what is it?
Plot twist.
Top 10 spoilers.
Spoilers.
Yeah, pretty much.
Top 10 life-ruining spoilers is basically what that was for me.
Yeah, I hate spoilers with a passion.
I don't know how I didn't see it coming. Kind of like the plot twist. Didn't see those either.
Yeah, I hate spoilers. I hate people who spoil things. So, I mean, but luckily, when I saw the list before it got published, I saw the games before I saw what actually happened. So I had played most of them, and the other ones I hadn't played, I don't think I'm ever gonna play anyway.
That's fair.
So I was cool with reading the whole thing.
Oh, I'll tell you my thing when we get there.
Oh, right. Yeah, so you checked out number 9 when I told you which one we're doing, and then you spoiled it for yourself, knowing that there was going to be a spoiler.
No, I didn't even care about the game. I've been watching the anime. I've invested so much into that. I'm 4 episodes from completing the series, and then, like, the game evidently has the same spoiler as the series.
I apologize.
I was just like, why did this happen?
That was totally all me.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't like you. No, I'm just kidding. No,
By
it's
the way,
fine. It's all good. I did that to myself.
Yeah.
Did such a valiant job of not spoiling Metal Gear Solid 5 for me. And then that was the first thing that got tossed out when we were talking about the plot twists.
I told Eric.
No.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Right after the top 10 got published, we were all drinking at a bar. It was one of our friends' birthdays, and we were celebrating. And the first thing I told him, where's Metal Gear 5 in that whole top 10? Because that's a huge twist at the end.
Right.
That's probably one of the biggest that I've seen. And he said, no, I mean, I brought it up, but nobody said anything, so I figure I'd let it go. I would have put it in there somewhere. I would have put it close to around 5 or something.
Yeah, I think what happened was I haven't finished the game yet. And I'm okay with spoilers for the most part. And so Eric explained it to me. And I don't think...
so...
Yeah.
I'm sorry, so you already know the twist?
I do.
So, Rafael, you know the twist?
Yeah.
Sierra, do you know the twist?
I do not.
See, I'm like, I would hate to be the kind of person to actually listen to this podcast. Because it's like, we're finally back and we're just going to spoil a ton of shit. So, actually, let's not talk about Metal Gear Solid 5.
Thank
you know
goodness.
What we should do? We shouldn't even talk about the top 10. We should just, like... just blurt out as many spoilers as we possibly can. Just ruin everything for everyone.
It would be like Sierra. Our Bitcast plot twist.
Sierra, you go first. Spoil something.
Crap. Okay, no, I need to think now. Wait.
Okay, Evan, spoil something.
Oh man, on the spot.
Actually, no, this is terrible. Let's not.
No, this is a great idea.
This is bad. All right, let's go to the top 10. Top 10.
So Star Wars, the new movie.
Oh my god. Okay. So real quick, before we start the top 10, I'll tell you my story with Star Wars. So my friends were already there. I kind of got there late, so I was walking into the movie. The movie hadn't started yet, so it was fine. I was just walking in. My friends already bought me the ticket, and they had a seat reserved. As I'm walking in, I see a guy, like a young kid, like a teen, and I can see him, like, he looked like a jerk, right? Like the kind of guy that would want to do shit just to kind of ruin people's lives. And I see him put his hands over his mouth like he's about to shout something. I know he's about to scream a spoiler, so I kind of cover my ears. Well, actually, I put my fingers inside of my ears, and I kind of start yelling so that I don't hear what he's saying. I can hear him screaming, but it's all blurred out, so I don't hear what he's saying. I just kind of hear the last part. He's like, dies at the end. That's all I get. That's all I hear. Because I reacted. Like my spider senses just kind of kicked in, and I knew what was coming before, but I didn't hear it, and I'm glad I didn't hear what he said, because once the movie was over, I knew what he was trying to spoil.
Well, I mean, 5 minutes before it happens, you kind of see it coming,
right?
But you don't really think about it for the rest of the movie. I had a similar experience, except for I was the spoiler, not the spoilee. I have a 7-year-old brother who's into Star Wars now, so I gave him the recap of all 7 movies basically, and my aunt was in the room. And I just lay out this massive spoiler from the newest movie, knowing my mom's not going to let him see it. And she just looks at me and she goes, what? I was like, oh god, I forgot you were here
Whoops.
and you haven't seen it.
Are
And
we
I'm
allowed
like-
to?
I don't
That's
think
okay.
we should. I don't think.
No,
it's
that's
still-
just wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
you can try to dance around.
I
with it.
guessed it before, like going into the
Yeah.
before
Mhm.
or right after that. I was playing Xenoblade Chronicles X, trying to finish it for my review, and some tool had in the little dialogue box above his head the spoiler.
Oh god. Why?
That's hilarious.
Right. So
Walking around.
They like trick you into reading it and then you
Right.
just blame yourself.
there's
Why
absolutely
did I do
nothing
that?
I could have done. Just sitting in the middle of the massive world map, like no way you would find him.
But that was after watching the movie, right?
No, it was before it. I just happened
Wow.
to have an inclination it was going to happen, and then
In
just
Xenoblade. of all
Xenoblade
things?
Chronicles. Yeah, and it was like a week
That's-
before the movie came out.
Oh god.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of had a feeling it was gonna happen because
Oh yeah, I mean
at
I
that
guessed
point
a
in
lot
the
of
like,
it.
at that point in the movie, you have this character here in front of this other character. He's saying, "No, come with me. No, everything's gonna be okay. Like, don't do this. We miss you." And then you have like Ray and Finn. I corrected myself. Ray and Finn kind of stationed like in the perfect spot. The
Yeah.
lights the lights dim.
Yeah, they can
The
only
lighting
watch.
was
lights
right.
dim down, and then I want to say like somebody else's name, but I'm like I could see it happening like 2 minutes before it was gonna happen. You could they were kind of building up to it.
Yeah, that moment you know, but like throughout the rest of the movie you don't really like anticipate that because you don't think of it until
Right.
it, you know,
The only
it
thing
starts
also-
becoming imminent.
And also, one big issue I had with that, I think it didn't hit me. I didn't go like, oh my god, what just happened? Even though it was a pretty big moment, it didn't really hit me like they probably thought it was going to, because there was no like, that was the first time you saw those two characters together at the same time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So there was nothing to look back on. So the first time you see them together is the first time you're supposed to like feel all this for them. And maybe I think it would have worked a lot better if they had had a scene at the beginning of the movie, or like closer to the beginning, putting them in the same place at the same time, and then in that same scene
yeah,
killing
it was,
them. It didn't
yeah,
really
it was
work.
really quick.
Yeah. Anyway, video games.
Yeah.
Yeah, back to
Oh
that.
yeah.
Top 10 video game plot twist.
I mean, there is
No.
a Star Wars game on this list, to be fair.
There
That's
is.
true.
Spoilers, list spoilers. It's
All
like
right,
number
so-
6. No.
I
I think it's number 2.
Oh, is it really?
Top,
I think so.
top 10. Number 10. Infamous. Okay, actually, I want to try something.
Yeah.
I do have some sound effects. Oh, Evan, you're not used to this. You haven't listened to my sound effects. I have a bunch of sound effects here.
Yes.
Here, boo. Like that comes in handy a lot.
Yeah, he usually saves that one for me.
That's this link. No, this one I saved for you. This is Oh, Evan, I created a whole
No,
Sierra bot
stop.
so that when she's not here, like she's gonna be gone in 30 minutes, then I can just pull out her bot and
Yes, it's me, this is Sierra Snow. I'm so sorry. I'm such an integral part of this.
Oh, I hate you so much.
sorry, but anyway, so let's do this for each entry. Don't just kind of say what the twist is right away.
Okay.
Kind of explain a little bit, like leading up to the twist, and then go ahead and tell me the twist. So, Evan, have you played Infamous?
I have.
Alright, you do.
All right. The better version of Prototype is Infamous.
It's like, yeah, somebody needed to
Oh,
put down
man.
Prototype.
Thank goodness. Yes, I hate prototype
Some-
in the dash.
Somebody needed to put Prototype in its place.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. So you play as Cole, and he has these superpowers after an explosion in the city, and you're fighting this entity known as Kessler, and you go through this like entire epic, dramatic storyline, and it turns out that Kessler is Cole from the future coming back to like give him the superpowers that he has.
Oh my god. Oh wait, hold on. Actually, I missed my cue. Can you repeat that again? What's the twist?
So the twist is that Kessler, the super villain, is actually Cole from the future, who has come back in time to create the ray sphere that gives Cole his superpowers, and he's coming back to like make him into the hero he needs to be to save the world.
Okay, I have a few of these. These are really gonna come in handy.
Oh my god.
Okay.
That was so dramatic.
I know. That's the whole point. You know what's funny? I played Infamous. I completed the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
And why didn't you talk about it?
Because I don't remember any of this. Like,
You're
that's
useless.
How much like,
skip cutscene.
Oh.
I don't know if it's just me, but like I don't remember anything about the game. It's just that flat in my memory.
It was a long time ago.
That's why it's only
to be
10.
fair.
That's why it's only 10. All right, number 9. Number 9. I remember. See, I remember. I have this for number 9.
Mighty number 9.
Oh god.
Okay, Sierra, you do number 9. You wanted to talk about number 9.
Well, Evan wrote it though. That's not really fair. So.
Yeah, but I mean, he talked about the last one.
Did you
know about it?
Did you actually play this game?
I did. I played through both of them. Actually, all three
Did you?
technically.
There's
but
I was like, there's a third one now.
the third
What
one
game
doesn't really
are we
count.
talking about?
Okay. Did you watch the anime too?
I have not seen the anime yet. No.
Well, it's apparently exactly the same as the first game, so don't waste your time.
Everybody listening is so confused about what
Okay, sorry.
game we're
Number 9
talking
is
about.
Danganronpa. That's like
Alright,
the
lead up
hardest
to
thing
it.
ever to say.
Mm.
Trigger Happy Havoc, which is the first of a 2.5-ish part series. There's also an anime, which I am like 4 episodes away from finishing, and then I read this magical plot twist.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't want to give that away. I just wanted to complain about having the anime. It's
No,
really,
you gotta-
really, really good though, and I really want to play the game, but I don't have a PS Vita, so
Okay,
It's
so
so
what's
good.
the game about?
it's about a bunch of high schoolers basically that end up in this school for like special awesome high schoolers, but it's not really that. It's kind of abandoned, and the only way for them to get out is to kill someone and get away with it. So they start killing each other, and then there's always a class trial after, but it's kind of, they're overseen by a little robot bear, and then they try to figure out who's behind all of this. Why are they trapped there? Who's killing who and all this stuff, and basically who's behind the bear and all of their misery.
So it's Battle Royale.
Yeah, it's like Battle Royale mixed with Phoenix Wright, kind of, but
Okay.
in a really weird anime sort of
So
way,
what's-
where they're all like
It was
teenagers.
it was kind
so.
of inspired by Zero Escape, if you guys are familiar with that. In the trophies, they gave a nod to Zero Escape, which is pretty much a very similar style game that came before it and inspired it.
I mean, the storyline's really, really good. I hope
Yeah.
that translates as well in the game, which I'm assuming it did, because
Yeah.
I think the anime came from the game, not
did.
the other way around.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
anime I
that's-
heard was not as deep as far as character development goes either.
I mean, there's only 13 episodes in the entire series, so they kind of have to kill people off pretty quickly
Right.
and resolve everything. So,
All right, we're spending a lot of time on number 9. So
sorry,
what is?
because
what's
I was
the
very
twist?
upset about that.
I know. Well, what were you upset about? What's the twist? What happens then?
let Evan talk about it. So.
Okay.
I don't
Also,
feel like
pe-
I'm
Oh,
worthy.
By the way, for people listening, spoilers.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Wow.
2 games
All
in,
right, Evan.
spoilers.
Should have waited till like number 4.
Right, so at the beginning of the game, when you're all introduced to Monokuma, who's a bear, also calls himself the headmaster of the school.
Sorry.
You,
He's an adorable bear.
He is. He's pretty awesome.
He's made of evil.
Yeah, he's got like crazy metal claws, but he lays down ground rules of what you're not supposed to do, or you'll end up being punished. And so, like, the girl in the picture for number 9 decides to disobey the rules, and is murdered right at the beginning of the game. And it turns out at the end of the game that she and her twin sister were in it together. All the students at the school are ultimates, like they're the best at what they do. So her twin sister, Junko Enoshima, is the ultimate despair. And her goal is to, like, fill the world with despair. So, unbeknownst to her sister, who was also in on it with her, she decided to kill her right at the beginning of the game to induce, like, what's worse than killing your own sister? So it turns out that she was behind it the whole time, even though you thought she was dead at the beginning.
Bless.
It's
I mean-
epic.
To be completely fair, I tried to argue for the second game because I thought the plot twist was much more ridiculous. But I won't ruin that for you because it's not on our
Yeah.
list.
Yeah,
This
let's not
one-
spoil everything.
This one, I
in
think,
game
is
at a
where
time.
the anime ends. I don't think they ever went over what happened in the second one. So, I guess I can still
Okay.
play that if I ever get a PS Vita. I literally just got a PS3 and I played it like once.
Nice.
Alright, yes. We have 8 more to go. That's
Wait,
number
Speaking of
9.
killing sisters, what is that game where that girl had... Oh my god, I can't... Wait, no, I remember. It's Drakengard. Never mind. I just had a mini stroke. I was like,
Drakengard
speaking
3.
of kill... Yeah, I always try to explain, like, to describe that to people. Like, the game where she has to kill her sisters, but they're kind of her, but it's, like, evil, and there's a dragon, but it's a baby, and like, nobody ever knows what I'm talking about. And they're like, Bayonetta? I'm like, no, it's not Bayonetta.
Okay, number 8. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Dual Destinies. Who wants to do that?
Objection.
I know absolutely
Oh my God,
nothing about that game.
Hold on. I'm so mad that
You should be. Play the boo sound effect for yourself right now, Paul. You deserve it.
I love how long that takes.
I know, that was
to
a little
prove.
harsh.
Hold on. Actually, I found it. Here's why I was upset. Because I had a whole Phoenix Wright soundboard, and hoping it still works. Here, it's been a while. Here. Objection! Yes, it still works.
Objection!
Yep, still works. So
That last one. Objection!
that's my favorite.
That's
Okay,
me.
so who has played this game and talk about it?
I have not.
I mean, I've watched people play it.
I played like 2 minutes of it
Pathetic.
This was
They
Donovan.
really are.
before I objected playing it.
Objection overruled!
Okay, so I haven't played it. Nobody played it. Who wrote about this?
Donovan did, yeah. He's the only one who played it of all of us as well.
Curse
when
you,
we were talking
Donovan.
about it.
Let's see.
I mean, I know
So,
what happens.
I know. I can briefly explain what happens, but I really like
Okay, what
number
happens?
7.
Okay, let me just spoil this for people listening real quick.
Okay.
The Phantom didn't work alone, and his bosses wanted him dead. The assassination attempt.
No.
on him that
No,
ends the
that's not
trial
it. Not some of it. The guy
Um,
that's basically helping you the entire time
Yeah.
is not the guy that you think he is. He's the guy that killed that guy.
Oh my god.
And yeah,
He's like a master at taking over identities.
yeah, he's like Leatherface or whatever,
Got it.
but more convincing.
It's like that guy
Oh my
from
God.
Smoking Aces.
What?
What a twist. Okay, alright. Next, number 7. Star Ocean Till the End of Time.
All right, have any of you guys played this one?
Now, what is
I
that?
I
for?
read the passage,
It's for
but
the
this is just so
PS2.
weird.
Yeah, this might be like the number one worst plot twist of all time. I love Star Ocean and I love Square, but this game is absurd. So you play as this guy named Fate, and like just crazy stuff happens. You're on a resort planet and it gets like invaded by aliens, and you go through like this whole shenanigans of a story just to find out that you're all just like video game characters in like a really big MMO. Yeah.
That sounds like
So the,
Okay, so-
the
That
creator
sounds
of the game
really
wants,
depressing.
yeah, the creator of the game inserts himself into the MMO, and he wants to destroy the entire game because apparently the only way to do that is to upload yourself into the game And so you're basically,
Logically.
it was like Gameception, a game in a game in a game.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, because you start off in a simulation game to learn the battle technique. So you're like literally
They've
in a game
become
within a game within a
self-aware.
game. Yeah, they do become self-aware. They realize that they're
That's
game characters.
awful.
Yeah,
That's awful.
Yeah, that's weird.
yeah.
Ugh, God, it's like I had to read this book in high school, and it was about like the awakening of this woman and like her great life, and she finally like leaves her husband and gets a house, and then she drowns herself. Like, why? Like that whole entire thing was a waste.
Oh, actually, I'm sorry.
Shut up.
Terrible. It's terrible.
No, like I literally like that's the same feeling that I would get from playing that game. Like it's just everything is
Actually, I think that would have been a
a
cool
waste.
twist to actually been, not have spoiled. But I mean, the reason I didn't care is I know for a fact I'm never gonna play that game. There's
You
a
know what
million
else
games
sucked? Euclidean.
Cleaning?
That game had no
Wow.
purpose.
It's big-
I'm still not over that.
Shots fired at Euclidean. Somebody needed to take on that game.
Yeah, why was it me? Like, that's
Right.
one of the few games I've ever actually beaten, but holy crap, it was really depressing.
Alright, number 6, Shadow of the Colossus.
I really want to play that.
Awesome
This
game.
It
yeah,
is
this
really
game's
good,
So
yeah.
great.
Such a good game. So Shadow of the Colossus, I kind of remember what happened at the end.
Well,
Somebody else should take it.
after the Wanderer defeats all the Colossi, because he was told that once you defeat them and bring their souls back to the temple, or once he fulfilled that, he was able to bring back the woman he brought there back to life. But in fact, he was actually collecting them all together because the Colossi were separate, and then he became the husk for these Colossi, and he became like that ultimate monster at the end.
Yeah, he became what he was trying to, what he was killing this whole time, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I'm getting tired of that one. Yeah, I really want to play it again. I have the HD
But it's
remake.
so good.
The HD remake was the first time I played it.
Really?
Yeah, it was
No,
awesome.
I played it originally in the PS2, and it really is one of the greatest games of all time. If I had to pick a top 10, I would probably put that in there somewhere.
Yeah, it was
top
good.
10.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Number 5. Let me wait a while. Oh, Heavy
Heavy
Rain.
Rain.
Heavy. It's so heavy.
I saw this plot twist like 5 minutes into the game.
I didn't actually. I didn't.
I mean, I saw it looking at the picture.
I know. Evan, what's the twist in
All right,
Heavy
so
Rain?
Heavy Rain is this.
What is the twist that none of the actors playing American characters are actually from America? 'Cause
Right.
They all sound like Canadian and British and like all of them have the strangest accents. I don't know why.
Right, right, and Jason.
Jason. Jason.
So one of the characters you play as is Scott Shelby, who's a private investigator, and basically it turns out that he's the one who kidnaps these kids and kills them. And he kidnapped the main character's son. I think the main character's name is Ethan, if I remember right.
Yep.
Yeah, so he kidnaps his son Jason, and oh wait, no, yeah, it's Jason. Yeah.
No. Wait, Ethan is the father.
Ethan's the father. Jason's the one that's kidnapped. I don't remember the one that gets killed at the beginning of the game.
Jason.
Jason.
So okay, so
was it Sean, the first one that got?
Sean!
Sean.
Oh, then Sean's the one that gets kidnapped.
Sean's the one that gets kidnapped. Jason's the one
Yeah.
that is at the beginning of the
Sean!
game. Yeah.
Jason.
So it turns out that Scott Shelby is he's a private investigator, and he's the one who kidnapped Sean, because he had a messed up childhood. It's really
So he was the origami killer.
yes.
That was a good twist.
It was.
Wait, I have a better one. Hold on. All right. Yeah, it was. I actually no, I didn't see it coming.
No,
I had no
neither
idea.
did anybody else in the top 10. But I tend to be a very cynical person, so of course the dude who seems like the friendliest guy in my head is clearly the killer.
Dang. Called it.
Yeah.
What a twist!
Well, there are also a few flashbacks that he has in the game with his younger brother, and that kind of did it for me. Like, if I was suspicious, that confirmed it.
Oh yeah, when they were playing and stuff. It
Yeah.
was in like the construction yard.
Yep. Yeah, when his brother dies.
I mean, he
What?
also kind of looks like John Goodman, so
Mm.
Uh,
John Goodman's
Bam.
awesome.
killer.
All right, so that was the twist. It was the origami killer.
I feel like we're not qualified to do this. Like, I'm just gotta be honest.
What are you talking about? We've all played these games. Here's one we're all definitely qualified for. Number 4.
No, not me.
Final Fantasy X. You haven't played Final Fantasy X.
No, I haven't. I haven't played any Final Fantasy.
What?
Just letting you know. It's been built up for so long. Like, I can't
Hold
even
on.
do it now.
Oh, hold on. You haven't what?
I haven't played Final Fantasy.
there it is.
Biggest plot twist of the night.
Yeah. That's okay, I deserved that.
I still have Shredder's babies. Look.
Babies.
Yeah, I love that one.
We know.
So, Final Fantasy X. Number 4. Who wants to take? I'm wanting Evan. Evan, you do this one.
Oh, okay. So Final
Do what
Fantasy.
we tell you to do, and you like it.
right. It's the Bitcast featuring Evan Schwab.
Yeah, it's this is your
This is my debut, man. My headliner.
exactly. This is your moment to shine.
Right. So Final Fantasy X, you play as Tidus, and
Titus.
it's actually pronounced Tidus.
It's Titus.
It's Tidus. I will
like-
bet you $1.25 that it's
Googling
Tidus.
it.
I'm gonna
Ante
play
it
the
up.
game again, and I'll check that out. All right, so Titus.
So Tidus, you play as Tidus. I only know this because as a child, well, I guess a teenager, we used to argue about how to pronounce his name, and they never pronounce it in the game.
It is Tidus.
Yeah, the only character whose name you can change in the game is Tidus, so they never actually say his name out loud. Anyway,
Did you also love playing Ninja Gaiden?
No, actually, I don't really like that game. Mostly because I'm really bad at it.
You never get to the boobs levels.
I didn't even know there were boobs levels. So
Yeah, once you hit like level 50 or something, like everybody's just naked for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
really, that's a real thing.
Maybe that's the second one. I'm pretty sure.
Man,
I'm not good enough for that either, but that's
got
what I've heard.
I got to like level 1.
Talk about
So-
rewards.
So you play as
It's
Tidus, and you're the superstar blitzball player whose home is attacked by this huge creature called Sin. And your old buddy Orin, I guess your father's buddy Orin, takes you to this magical land known as Spira, and you join Yuna in her quest to finally quell Sin. You guys decide that you want to actually completely destroy Sin instead of just like sending him back into the cycle, where he would just come back years down the line. And it turns out that Tidus is just one of the Faith's dreams. So by destroying Sin, you also destroy all of the Faiths. You go through and kill like every single summon in the game. But by doing so, you also completely erase Tidus, because he was just a dream. Wasn't real in the
That's
first
So-
so
place.
weird to hear now.
Was that hard to catch? Because when I first played the game and I beat the whole thing, I didn't notice that.
He just
or I
faded
didn't
away,
think of
didn't
that.
he? Like in the
Yeah, he
final
did
game.
because you got rid of all the faith.
Right.
They talk about it. That little kid who's Bahamut. They have like this really weird dialogue that Tidus kind of realizes what's going to happen, and he like hides it from Yuna for like half the game, and then you just kind of forget about it until he disappears, in a really, really super dramatic way.
Why are all these games so soul crushing?
Well, nobody cares that Orin like was dead the whole time.
Wait.
Spoiler.
Everybody cares that Tidus disappears, but Orin was a real hero.
Yeah, he was badass.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He did that that sling arm in his coat.
Yeah. He gets sent inside of Sin. It was devastating. I was crushed.
So, I had an argument with, I think it was Eric, but I think it was somebody else at the household.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron, is he always drinking like alcohol? He's always drunk, right? That's what he's drinking?
I don't know if he's always drunk, but yeah, I would assume that's alcohol, yeah.
Right? That's what it looks like
Yeah.
to me. And he's always kind of stumbling.
Right.
Like slurring his speech a little bit, so it seems to me like he's just a drunk.
It could be. He's also very dead.
I already want to cry.
All right, let's move along here. Move along. I have a clip from that that plot twist.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That scene was
Tidus is the one that's in Kingdom Hearts, right?
Yes.
The little
Orange is in
asshole
Kingdom
with a
Hearts.
pole.
Wait, no, yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's I can't.
They're
say
like
Tidus.
they're like
I can't
all
say-
in Kingdom Hearts though.
Yeah, selfie and
Tidus.
cloud.
Okay.
Yeah, that really weirded me out.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to say Tidus, but
you could say
grown
Tidus,
accustomed-
it's okay. But
Okay, Tidus. He was in Kingdom Hearts 1 as at the beginning of the
he
game,
was on
kind of showing
Destiny
you how to.
Island.
Destiny
that's
Island,
right.
showing
Yeah,
you
he
They're
had
all
a
little
pole and
kids.
he hit you on the head with it, and it was horrible.
Yeah, him. Aaron was in Kingdom Hearts 2 in the Hades level.
And Squall turned into Leon.
Yep.
And Leon is from Resident Evil 2.
You know who the real villain is, though? The frickin' volleyball guy, or medicine ball, whatever he throws at you.
Waka?
Yes.
That's a
Waka.
blitz ball.
Whatever, he's the real villain out of all of these.
Alright, let's move it to number 2.
3.
3?
Yeah, Spec Ops The
Yep.
Line.
I've never played that game.
Oh,
I've
it's so
always
good.
wanted to.
Why is it so high up?
All right, so because it's really craftfully done. You play as, oh man, are you? You're like the commanding officer of 3 soldiers.
Sorry.
It's okay.
That was an accident.
This is the most appropriate game to do that too.
Oh, okay.
So
Then good.
you're in command of a squad of. There's just 3 of you. You're on a rescue mission, and you're heading through some desert land. I don't remember exactly where you're at, but you are trying to find this group of soldiers that they went AWOL, and so you're trying to track down the commanding officer. So like the whole way through, you communicate with this guy through your radio. It gets really intense. You kill a bunch of terrorists. You find out that a bunch of his soldiers went rogue, so you kill them too. And then you like roll into the end of the game. You go to the dude's apartment, and the officer who was in charge of those people, and he's been dead the whole time. And it turns out that like your character has been suffering through some like intense hallucinations because of all the terrible things that he did from the beginning of the game. Like his communications broke like towards the beginning of the game. He like dropped white phosphorus on a bunch of innocent civilians, and just like the whole thing just completely devastates his character. But it was like a kind of a commentary on the way that we approach like first person shooters, and just like you just go in guns blazing, shooting anybody you want. It was a pretty intense game, but the twist was that the guy was dead the whole time, and your character was just like crazy. And like they make you choose to do terrible things in the game that like decides the ending of the game for you too.
Again with the soul crushing.
Yeah, no, this one was pretty. This was pretty tough to swallow.
I don't have a sound effect for that one. Um,
A bunch of
You,
babies.
you should have the
a bunch of babies.
Right.
There it is.
Yeah, there you go. I have babies.
Perfect.
You know where that's from, right, Evan?
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is Knights of the Old Republic. I was expecting this to be number 1.
What even is this though?
So, have you played Knights of the Old Republic?
Of course not.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, it's the best Star Wars game. One of the greatest.
But like, what is
RPGs.
it based on? Is this just like a side story that they just
It
made up
takes
for the
place-
game?
It takes place a longer time ago
Ha.
than the movies. I mean, it actually it used to be canon at one point. None of this is canon anymore, as of the new trilogy. All of this stuff has just kind of taken out of canon completely. But this took place way before the original movies. Maybe like thousands of years before that.
I think like 4 or 5.
Yeah, back when there were a ton more Jedi and Sith in the galaxy. So just to kind of keep it short, you play as, it's kind of like with Mass Effect, because it was the same company. It was BioWare.
Yeah.
So you create your character. The story goes, there is this, one of the greatest Sith was Darth Revan. He was kind of a myth. I think it was assumed that he was dead or that he died.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, it was
there's
killed by his apprentice. Or
Darth Malak.
Yeah.
Right? So Darth Malak or Malak, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Like, he is the villain of the game. But the twist at the end of the game, because the character you play at kind of starts developing his Jedi powers. He's really in tune with the Force. He's really good at what he does. He just becomes really, really good really quickly. And at the end of the game, near the end of the game, you find out you were actually Revan, who kind of, I guess, I don't know what happened, but he kind of forgot. I guess he got amnesia.
I think the
forgot
Jedi
everything that
Council
happened.
wiped his memory.
Right, that's what happened. And the cool thing is because it was a BioWare game, so you can kind of, choose to be a Jedi or a Sith based on your actions and in combat and, with dialogue speeches. You could end up kind of turning Revan into a Jedi at the end, where he kind of makes up for his mistakes and turns good, or you can just go back to being evil, like Darth Revan as the Sith Lord.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the twist, that the guy you were, you heard all these things about, that was you, like the main character this whole time. I don't know. Anybody else play Knights of the Old Republic?
I have
Of
not,
course.
but I... wasn't that only for the Xbox?
Yeah.
I think it was on PC.
It's already on PC, but I think originally it was just for the Xbox.
Yeah,
I think it's on your phone now.
Yeah, I think it is on Android. Or, I mean, Google Play and iOS, but I never had an Xbox when I was younger, so...
Oh, see, I had everything. I never missed out on anything. That was the only way you could play that, and that's it. That was the only game really to play that. And Halo, and Halo.
Yeah. But this was worth it.
Oh, it was, no, trust me, it was an amazing game. It was worth me getting an Xbox just because I wanted to play this at the time.
Really good.
But Evan, you still haven't played it?
No, but now that it's on Google Play, I think it runs on my Android TV. So I might download it. I should download it.
Yeah, I mean, if you've already played Mass Effect and, Dragon Age, it might not hold up as well anymore. But still give it a shot.
Yeah.
You can force persuade people.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't need to pay for this parking spot. I think that actually happens when you go to a spaceport. Yeah.
What was the name of the robot? The robot was like one of the
HK-47. Yeah.
HK-47 was awesome. You gotta play the game, Evan, and then you'll know why HK-47 is so awesome. He just kind of has this personality where he just detests humans, but he just talks about humans in such a I don't know, like patronizing way and just so ironic about everything he says because he's a robot. He doesn't know any better.
Right.
You gotta play this stuff.
I will. I think it's only like $10. So
yeah.
That's not bad.
I gave Eric a copy of this for his birthday.
oh, nice.
Did he play it?
Yeah, he just needed a copy. But I gave him the crappy greatest hits collection copy with the silver stripe.
Yeah.
I kept the good one.
That...
As you should.
Number one, I was not expecting you guys to kind of group the whole BioShock series.
Yeah.
number one
Well,
entry.
really, BioShock 1 and BioShock Infinite, because BioShock 2 really was.
I'm sure
It
two
was
had
like a
twist in there
spin-off.
somewhere.
Yeah, well,
No, it
BioShock
wasn't a spin-off.
BioShock 2 wasn't created by Ken Levine and his team. It was just like a 2K money grab. It was I was okay with it, but lots of people frown upon it.
I got it for like $3.
Yeah, it was fun. It was one of the first games I platinumed, I think. That was commitment. But the BioShock series had a couple of pretty decent plot twists. We grouped them together because of Andrew Ryan in the first one, when he reveals that you're being controlled by Atlas, and with the catchphrase "Would you kindly," which like totally turns your world upside down in the game. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, but BioShock Infinite is like the real winner. You are Booker DeWitt, who is sent on a mission to go bring us a girl and wipe away your debt. So he goes to kidnap or
Columbia.
rescue, I guess, depending. Yes, Columbia, the city in the sky. But he goes to rescue or kidnap, depending on how you look at it, this girl named Elizabeth, who ends up having some pretty crazy powers. And you go through like 17 different wormholes.
Jeez.
And
Yeah, that ending kind of messed me up.
yeah, so it turns out that the evil villain is this guy named Comstock, who seems to know everything about your past, and they kind of lead you on to believe that you like fought with him back in like the battle of, what was it, something
Wounded Knee.
Yeah, and but it turns out that after that battle in some dimensions, Booker was baptized and took the name Zachary Comstock. So in those dimensions, he split off to become like this really crazy dictator-esque ruler who went into developing ways to go through wormholes, which actually ended up sterilizing him, so he couldn't have children, which is why he kidnapped Booker's daughter in the first place. And he had the two scientists who helped him. They helped him figure out how to travel through these dimensions. They felt, I don't know if they felt guilty. They definitely felt responsible for Booker losing his daughter. So they continuously help him try to rescue her. But so the twist is at your Comstock, and then at the end, the only way to successfully rid the multiverse of Comstock was to drown Booker at the baptism before any of the alternate timelines could spawn.
Yeah, I think the first BioShock is still the best one in the series. Although it was kind of hard to decide between that and Infinite.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're just completely different.
Right.
Yeah, they just play similarly. Both of them they have the same theme, you know. People decide to build their own world in a different place other than, you know, Earth. You know,
right.
In the first game they go underwater. There's a lot of politics and revolved around that. And the second one, well, not the second one, in Infinite, they go to the sky. There's still a lot of politics, but I think Infinite delves more into like social issues with racism and a lot of the time, a lot of the things that were going on in that time that the game takes place in. Although they just kind of kick it into overdrive and then make it into a universe where people create cities in the sky.
Right.
That can happen, but I know. I think still the original BioShock. I don't know if it's just me, but there's a thing that I feel now where I don't have the same feelings that I had when I used to play games when I was little. That kind of sense of amazement and like, wow, like I have a feeling that I'm never gonna forget. It doesn't happen a lot anymore. I kind of play a game and just kind of want to get it over with, just to move on to the next game.
Oh no.
I don't know if it's just me. It doesn't happen all the time. It happens, but it happens way too often. And BioShock, it's not a new game, but it's still a pretty modern game. And when I played it, I had that feeling that I don't get that a lot. Where I was just kind of blown away from the moment I started playing till the end.
Yeah.
And I love that game. And the twist I never expected. I just everything about that game. Every time I mentioned this before on the cast, I think, but anytime I've had a new girlfriend at any point, I always just play the intro to that game and make her watch because it's like an amazing intro.
Yeah, that game's amazing.
But yeah, that's about it. I want to play this clip. Go ahead.
The first BioShock was like the entire reason I got an Xbox. Like, up until that point, I had been playing, like, PS2 and all that kind of stuff, and then
Still playing PS2.
I am, and PS1, but no, I ended up getting an Xbox 360, and BioShock was, like, the first game that I got, because I wanted it so bad, and that game is just, like, nothing really compares to that. I mean, I guess if you want to, BioShock Infinite, I'm sure there's something, but that experience is just, like, it's just, like, a true dystopian, I don't even know. Like, it's creepy, but it's not. It's just so, like, broken. I don't know. It's such a good game. God, it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, it was actually kind of based off of a book, which I have yet to finish reading, but...
Ayn Rand novels.
Atlas Shrugged. And there's actually also some BioShock novels now, which I can't bring myself to read those, but...
Also, watch, what's the name of that movie? It stars, Chris Evans?
The frickin' train thing?
Yes,
I
watch
hate
that movie. Don't say anything. I'm not gonna spoil that. So if you guys haven't seen
What
it,
movie?
What's it called? It's on Netflix. Google it after this.
What
It
is it
stars,
called?
it's Chris Evans.
Snowpiercer. It's called Snowpiercer.
Oh, I heard that movie was terrible.
It
No,
was.
it's good.
Was.
It's awesome. It's
No,
awesome.
don't
I
listen
love
to
that
him.
movie. Watch Snowpiercer. It takes a lot of it reminds me of BioShock a ton.
I mean, yeah, I can see why you feel that way, but good God, that movie.
I love that movie.
Why?
Because Captain America is in it.
That's not no.
All right, let me play a clip. Let me play a clip from BioShock so we can wrap up the top 10.
Stop, would you kindly? Would you kindly? Powerful phrase. Familiar phrase.
Would you kindly? Would you kindly get this? Would you kindly find that? Would you kindly Would you kindly find? Would you kindly get this? Would you kindly head to Ryan's office and kill the son of a bitch?
Sit, would you kindly?
That's the twist.
Stand, would you kindly? Run. Stop. Turn. A man chooses. A slave obeys.
And there's kind of more that happens after that. I don't think we need to go into that. There's even more spoilers. It's
I mean, to be real though, I don't even hate Atlas.
Atlas turned out to be
A tool?
Han Solo at the end.
See, I don't even hate him though.
Um,
Yeah, he was a massive tool, but how can you hate someone who's guided you through the entire game thus far?
alrighty.
It's kind of like in Danganronpa, like you're supposed to hate Monokuma. He's like this evil bear, and he's like making everybody murder everybody. But I'm like, oh, he's so cute. Whole villain thing, I'm not good with that.
Alright, so that's the top 10. It took a while, but we got to it. Sierra, you have to go?
I do have to go. I had to go like an hour ago.
Alright, so let's go into break, and then we're going to come back for the second segment. Sierra, since you're leaving, you can pick a song. What do you want us to go out on? It has to be related to one of these games that we talked about.
Oh, I've literally only played like 2 of them, so.
Mm-hmm. What do you want? What do you want? Beyond the Sea, from BioShock, something like that. Sure.
What about Under the Sea?
That one too.
Thank you, Evan. Thank you. All right.
Or a mashup of the 2 of them.
Ooh, I like that.
I'm sure it exists somewhere.
See, now I need to do a lot more work. Thank you.
He has to write it.
So,
play all the
all right,
parts.
let's go for now, and then we'll come back. We're gonna do Final Fantasy Explorers, more Final Fantasy stuff, and yeah, say bye, Sierra.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Somewhere beyond the sea, somewhere waiting for me, my lover stands on golden sands and watches the ships that go sailing. Somewhere beyond the sea, she's there watching for me.
I don't get to use
Listen.
Evan, you reviewed Final Fantasy Explorer.
Yes, I did.
What score did you give it?
Gave it an 83%.
So it's a terrible game.
By somebody's opinion, probably.
Exactly.
What kind of Final Fantasy is it? It's not
It's
a
like
normal one.
it's like a Monster Hunter. It's
All I know about the game is that it has a ton of characters from, all the classic Final Fantasies.
right.
I guess they make cameos
Well-
or appearances, or you get to play as them. I don't know.
Yeah, you get these things. What's it called? Hold on, I forgot already.
It's Fear.
Magicite. You
Okay.
get this stuff called Magicite, and like when you battle the Eidolons, you can capture them. If you get down their health low enough and you trigger your crystal surge, you can capture them, equip them as your Magicite, and then use like their ultimate ability when you go into trance mode. So as you complete different things in the game, and as you I think for killing or defeating 10 Eidolons, you get I think Lightning was the first one that I got. But you equip them as a Magicite, and then when you go into trance mode, you turn it into them for like 30 seconds. But then you use like their best limit break, like Clouds is Omni Slash and Squalls is Lionheart. But yeah, they have a whole bunch of the iconic characters, and they have like depending on if you feel like farming enough of the materials, you can create like I had Sephiroth's attire that I used for a good probably at least half of the game.
That was an accident.
The weapons were a lot of the weapons were like I had Squall's Gunblade for a while. It was just a really like neat nod to, if you're familiar with the Final Fantasy series, you will pretty much love all of the references that you'll come across in Explorers. But what really won the game over for me, because I'm not a huge fan of Monster Hunter, which I guess is like a sin, but in those games, at least in the ones that I played, and the same with Ragnarok Odyssey, you need to play with other people, and you need to party with them. And in Final Fantasy Explorers, that option is there, but you can also create monsters to join your party. So you can have like up to 3 other creatures with you. So if you can't, if you don't have any friends because Nintendo's friend system is whacked, and you don't want to search online for people because you don't trust, I don't know, whoever you're going to party with, you can just create your own party and go out and complete all the missions by yourself, so you don't have to utilize a system that generally, at least in like Ragnarok Odyssey, I never found a full party. That game died halfway through for me because I could never get into a party, and some of the boss fights there were impossible without a party. Final Fantasy Explorers skips all of that nonsense by giving you the option to create monsters and use them by yourself.
Okay. You said Eidolons?
Yeah.
Those are summons.
Yeah,
right?
those are the summons. They used to be called Eidolons back in the day. Like
Eidolons.
Yeah.
I know in 9 that's what they were called.
Yeah.
In 7 and other games were summons.
Yeah, 7 was summons. 6 was Eidolons.
8 was GF.
Yeah, Guardian Forces.
Girlfriend.
Yep. Yep. You toss her in front of you to take all the damage.
Exactly. 10.
10, I think, were just summons. Or were they technically the Faith?
No.
I think it did say summon.
Yeah, because when you were Yuna, it had a summon selection. Like, you would just click summon, but I don't know if they're technically called summons.
Okay. I don't know if I should get Final Fantasy Explorers, because I haven't played a 3DS game in a long time.
I would say, if you're a fan of the Monster Hunter type games...
Never played them.
Okay.
Ew.
I would say probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really fun game, and if you like Monster Hunter, you'll love it. But if you don't like Monster Hunter, if you've never played one, it's a risky buy, because it's really you sit in one hub town that has like one shop, one one blacksmith. There's a quest counter. There's a couple Moogles floating around, and then
I was gonna say, I bet there's a Moogle in there somewhere.
There's there's the monster creation lab, and then an airship that you can use to just fly out. But like the Monster Hunter games, you kind of like roam a map till you get to your designated area, and then you kill a boss, and that's like the whole thing. So like the mission types, and I said this in the review, there are like 4 different mission types. You either kill a set of enemies, you collect a set of items, you kill an Eidolon, or you like have a combination of some of those things, and that's it. And your time, you get like 20 to 40 minutes a mission, give or take, to do it. The other nice thing, though, that I did like about it is that in other games, if you die and you like have to restart the whole thing, in this, if you die, they give you an option to either take 5 minutes off the clock, or use a Phoenix Down, or just quit. So you don't necessarily have to restart the mission from the beginning if you die, which happens occasionally.
All right. Now, since we're talking about Final Fantasy, you wanted to talk about that feature you wrote, which I love video game music in general, but Final Fantasy music.
Yeah, Nobuo Uematsu is a baller.
Yeah. It's crazy that he's been in charge. Well, I mean, he's not as he's not really in charge anymore of the soundtracks for Final Fantasy themes. Although I'm not sure about 15. Is he working on that?
I don't know
soundtrack?
15, but he did do the majority of the 14 A Realm Reborn soundtrack.
Yeah. All right.
And he always works with oh my gosh, what's his name? Is it Sakaguchi?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. He always works with him on any of the projects he has he comes out with, which is fantastic.
But I mean, I think it's just amazing that a lot of the tunes that you hear out of a ton of Final Fantasies, like 9 and 7 and 8 and 4 and 6 and 1, like how does that come out of one person's brain?
His musical composition genius.
Yeah.
It's funny. I saw, because I'm a huge nerd, I went to the Distant Worlds concert in Chicago a couple years ago, and he was there. Obviously, he's not the director, but he did. He came out with his little MIDI keyboard and played the theme of Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah,
and it's like it was really bad. Like his ability to play, at least there, was not good. But like he can create these like phenomenal compositions that are just some of the most brilliant pieces of music that you will ever hear.
Yeah, I think his band that he tours with and plays his own music is called the Black Mages.
Oh, is that actually his band?
I'm pretty sure, because
that's pretty cool, though.
I
didn't know that.
Very
I
flavorful.
know the Black Mage. I have heard their stuff, but I didn't know that was his.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, he's always there. So what was the feature about?
All right, so the feature was me sitting in front of a blank screen and having no idea what to write.
Mm-hmm,
and
I feel you.
Yeah, so I was like, all right. So I popped on my iPod, rolled to my piano collections of the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack, which there is nothing better than pure piano. And so like actually I didn't have my iPod. I was using YouTube. So the first one that popped up was Tifa's theme, and it's just like that's my childhood. I got Final Fantasy VII when I was in 5th grade from a KB Toys for the PC for $9.99. Yeah, it was awesome. I still have I have the box and everything. For whatever reason, I was attuned with the Final Fantasy as a 5th grader. And it's just like when I think back on my childhood, my life, like the music, just it's always been there. Like 5th grade, Final Fantasy VII, 7th grade, Final Fantasy VIII, and so on. Just all of the positive things in my life, and because of nostalgia, there's a wonderful quote by Gene Wolfe, who's one of my favorite authors, and if you ever get a chance to read anything he writes, he's a brilliant writer. But he always mentioned, I think it was Gene Wolfe, his quote was, nostalgia is always fondly remembered because it usually takes place in your most distant memories that you have the least amount of actual memory of, so you kind of fit it to an ideal. And Final Fantasy and Final Fantasy music definitely fits that ideal of like my childhood. But like the friends that I've gained throughout the years, of the ones that I met in 5th grade because of Final Fantasy and the music, are still some of my closest friends to date. It's just like the piece is just about how it shaped who I am and the things that are important to me. I wouldn't be interested in English, in teaching, in writing, in creating music myself if it wasn't for this. Literally can trace it back to Final Fantasy VII and my childhood.
Well, I think I've asked you that. I mean, when I interview writers to join our site, I always ask them what their favorite game of all time is, just to see what their reaction is going to be on the spot. It gives me a sense of A, just their answer, so I kind of have an idea of their knowledge overall, and B, I can also kind of tell their sense of, I guess, biased or non-biased based on the answer they give me. I did ask you, but I think I've forgotten at this point. Was yours
It was not
Final Fantasy?
I gave you about 3 different games in that response. It was not Final Fantasy VII, although
That's
that
mine.
one has a very special place in my heart. My favorite Final Fantasy is actually 8, for many reasons, which I've also detailed in a different feature. That Nier, which also has one of the best soundtracks in recent memories, and then Illusion of Gaia, which really kind of crowned me into the world of video gaming.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember now. 7 is my favorite of all time. I wouldn't say it's the best game of all time. I wouldn't even put it in the 20s. Well, maybe I would put it in the high 20s. I would, with no bias, I would definitely say 10, 4, and 6 and 9 maybe are better games than 7. But 7 is my personal favorite. It's the best experience I've ever had playing any game. Just period. That's why I've always been so excited about the concept of a remake.
Yes.
And why I'm excited that a remake is happening. And that's why Rafael will tell you that it's gonna be amazing, right?
Before Paul chews at me again.
And also, the reason why you need to play Crisis Core.
I gotta play that. I haven't played it.
You do. And I need to... I'm still looking for a PSP for you.
Like I can't believe I haven't played that actually. But yeah, 7 is my favorite game. See, now we're talking about Final Fantasy soundtracks. I would say it's hard for me to pick one out. I have said numerous times, I think the best battle theme comes from 9. I think because it's just so unique. It has kind of like a really distinct guitar solo in there in the middle.
Oh yeah,
that's a lot different than 7 and 8 and all the other ones.
Right.
It's just unique. It's the most. For some reason, I can listen to that one the most. If I had to choose the best Final Fantasy VII soundtrack, I'm trying not to be biased here, but it's hard not to pick 7. Although 9 and 10 really, really get up there. 9 has some incredible moments. The song You're Not Alone in 9, which plays at the perfect moment when, Zidane. I call him Zidane.
Yeah, so do I, but I think it is actually Zidane, but I can't call him that.
Zidane. It's just like, it's just the moment in the game that I remember the most, where he is at a point where he is just giving up on everything. He's just trying to exclude his friends from his life. He's just trying to get away from everything, telling them he doesn't need them and he doesn't want them. And he's injured, and then monsters keep showing up. He's not gonna make it, and then his friends kind of just start showing up one by one. And then at the end of the scene, they're all back together, and he accepts, his friends again. Yeah. And that song, like, I remember that song specifically because of that scene. There was no actual dialogue in that scene. Just, written, but I can kind of hear it in my head every time I think about it. I love that. Rafael, what's your favorite Final Fantasy song or soundtrack?
Well, you guys are trying to talk without bias, but yeah, mine has to be with and Final Fantasy IX, absolutely.
Yeah.
It just goes so well everywhere you go in that game. The sounds, the settings, the songs just set are so well done. Like when you go to the village of Dali, and then like, it has that like really soft piano, and it's like it absolutely captures that sleepy town. But then you go deeper into it, and then you find that that's where the black mages were being produced.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Yeah.
oh man, it's just good.
Yeah, and then the Black Mage Village too. That theme song. Really quick, just thinking back on 7. I think Red 13 is probably my favorite character in that game, which is kind of strange out of all of them. And then one of the things that I remember the most is his, because everyone gets their own kind of side story at one point in the game. Mm-hmm. His, when you get to Cosmo Canyon, and then you have to go into the cave, and that's when he finds out who his father was, and that he wasn't a coward like he thought he was. He actually died a hero protecting the village. And then his theme song plays, and like holy shit, like there's like a background image that's actually, you know, was created when the game came out. It's official art where it's Red 13 standing next to his father, like, you know, who was petrified and dead. Mm-hmm. It's like, I love that art, and the theme song is amazing. Like I get goosebumps just thinking about that scene and hearing that song.
It was it was a great.
That was one of my favorite parts of that game.
Yeah.
And then of course, One Winged Angel, which is kind of, it's such an incredible piece that it's almost, it doesn't make sense that it came from a game. That sounds like something that somebody would have created like long time ago, that if it hadn't been created in a game, it would have been remembered as like one of the greatest masterpieces in like musical history. It would have been like talked about in history channels and books as to how good it was. But I think because it's part of a game, it doesn't get, you know, that kind of I don't know, I guess respect, because it's an amazing piece.
Yeah,
One Winged Angel is like too good. It shouldn't. Nothing should be that good. Yeah, I can talk about Final Fantasy music forever, but
Final Fantasy VII I think was my favorite soundtrack.
I'm gonna say that's my favorite too.
I could argue a lot for that one. The main theme of Final Fantasy VII, the world map theme, is so good.
It's so long. It's like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's good, and the piano version of it is fantastic. Although I will say the world map, I think it's the world map music for Final Fantasy IX, as much. When I was a kid, I absolutely loathed Final Fantasy IX. I did not finish it my first time through until like a year later. But the world map music, I think that's what I'm thinking of, was spectacular in that game too.
Also, the SNES titles, I think the battle theme from 4, which is also ended up being in, I think it was in Super Mario RPG, when you have like Kulex kind of makes a cameo from 4 in Mario RPG, and then you fight him, and then you hear that theme song. I think that was actually the first time I heard that song. So I heard it in Mario RPG before I played it in 4. I think Uematsu also had to, actually no, I don't think he worked on Mario RPG. He did work on Chrono Trigger, which is like, this is a whole other conversation on its own. And anyway, we've already gone way too long, like over 2 hours. So let's, question of the week. Let's do the question of the week. Rafael, remember we used to do these because they were, Eric used to do them.
Yeah,
like
in that
specific art
group.
Yeah, he used to do that, and then we would get a lot of responses from people. He doesn't do that anymore, but I still want to do it.
Okay.
So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pick one now. We're gonna do our answers. Since we don't have any answers to read for now, I'm gonna post the question on our Facebook group, so that everybody else can contribute, and then we'll read the answers on the next show that we record.
Okay.
For now, because we are working on forums, and once we start getting more people engaged in the forums, I know I've been asking for forums since we began. So, question of the week, since I guess we're talking about Final Fantasy, I was gonna go with Final Fantasy music, but we kind of already talked about that, so let's go with Since we were talking about Final Fantasy Explorers, what is your favorite Final Fantasy spin-off?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I am gonna go with... See, I could go with Tactics, but I don't think that's a spin-off, is it?
What are we defining as spin-offs?
Spin-off is not part of the main numbered series, I guess.
Well, that's a tough
Tactics,
one.
Tactics kind of has its own, like...
Right, because then you've got spin-offs of Tactics.
Exactly. That's why it's hard. So, not counting Tactics...
Spin-offs.
Right.
Not counting Tactics, I'm gonna go with... Actually, I kind of hated the game because it wasn't that good. But Dirge of Cerberus...
Oh my god, I was just thinking about that.
It's not a good game. Square Enix is not good at making, like, third-person shooters.
Right.
At all.
No.
And that game is very mediocre. But what I liked about it is, it expanded on the universe of 7 a little bit. Right before we started getting the movie, Advent Children, which came out, I think, a little bit after that. And before we got the announcement of a remake, Rafael, which we're excited about. But, I mean, we got to kind of... The reason I loved it, even though the game was kind of bad... Actually, not kind of, it was pretty bad. Is that Vincent and Kate Sith kind of took the lead roles in that game. Vincent kind of made sense because he was really cool in 7. He's the kind of character that I guess people would have wanted to see more of. But Kate Sith, I loved Kate Sith, and I was just surprised that they picked him to kind of be the comedic relief in Dirge of Cerberus and kind of the sidekick to Vincent. And kind of got to know more about Kate Sith than I thought I would ever see more of.
Well, there's a few that I would pick from, but as much as I enjoyed Mystic Quest, I'm gonna go with Crisis Core. Loved Crisis Core. It still might be the only PSP game that I actually finished. But man, it details Zack's story from soldier to soldier first class to how he got the Buster Sword, because he doesn't start with it, and how it then was transferred to Cloud, and the ending is just absolutely heartbreaking. As you know what's going to happen, but
what happens?
Oh, he's hunted down by the Shinra, and yes, you like fight just endless waves of Shinra soldiers at the end of the game until they finally either you lose your entire health bar or they eventually just cut to a cutscene and he just gets like speckled with bullets and dies.
Well, I mean, I guess if you played 7, you knew
right,
that
yeah,
was
that's like
happen.
the least spoiler of spoilers. Like, if you pick up Crisis Core and you don't know that Zack's gonna die at the end, why are you picking up Crisis Core?
Exactly. Yeah, I definitely need to play that. Rafael?
I haven't played too many spin-offs. I play Tactics, but I'm terrible at it. There was that first snow level. I think that was my favorite because it was just a training. You guys remember that one?
Yeah.
And then you were really attacking, but you were just throwing snowballs at each other.
Wait. That's Tactics A2, isn't it? Or Tactics
I don't remember, but it was a snow level, and it was a training.
Was that in the top 10 snow levels?
No.
I don't think so.
It should have been.
And but I was gonna say the Dirge of Cerberus too, because I remember. Did he have 2 pistols?
He had a bunch of pistols. He had like a shotgun, a machine gun.
Right, you could like change the barrels and crap.
Yeah, I remember adding like the longest sniper scope to whatever gun I had, and that was the only thing I ever did. Just like make everything into a sniper.
I loved that game when I first played it, and I tried to play it last year, and
it's a bad game.
Yeah, it's bad.
I'll play it again. Like I'll play it again if I get trophies for it. Now that's the only reason I'll play it.
They should put that together with like Crisis Core as an HD, and I would.
Here's what. Okay, when the Final Fantasy VII, not the remake, Rafael, not the remake.
Okay.
When the HD port of the PC, HD title.
Right.
When that was announced for PS4, I think it would have been. I think that was kind of lackluster. I think it would have been better if they had released that as a disc with that and Crisis Core and Dirge of Cerberus and anything else related to 7.
Yeah.
Because there's a ton of 7 spin-offs.
Right.
7 is like a franchise of its own.
Or
now.
they could do the Square Enix way and release Crisis Core as a $60 HD title like they did with Type 0.
Yeah.
True.
God, no. Yeah, I wish they would have done that with 7. I think people would have complained less if they had released it as a package with all the 7
It could be.
titles.
Although I was pretty pumped to play Final Fantasy VII for like the 18th time.
I'm going to soon. I mean, and I'm going to get trophies for it now.
Yeah. That's the best part.
All right. Let's wrap it up. 'Cause I gotta edit this whole thing. I gotta cut so much. Rafael, what are you working on?
Just finished up my what the hell was that game called?
That really
Oh, I
bad
just
one?
finished up no. Oh, Close Order was so bad. My goodness. And the company, I believe, Black Shell Media, gives out a lot of their games for free, but I don't know if that's an excuse to make such a bad game.
That's not an excuse.
No, it's... Oh, my goodness.
Is that the one you were gonna get an interview from?
Uh,
It's not gonna happen.
yeah, not after that review. But yeah, I finished that one like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and then I just finished Rebel Galaxy. If you're listening to this, buy Rebel Galaxy immediately. It's the best game. If you like Firefly, then that's your game.
Okay.
It is just so good. It's like a sandbox space sim.
Evan, what are you working on?
I
Like 10 reviews.
well, I just
10 reviews just tonight.
You reviewed one
during the
time we
podcast.
did
I
this
wrote
podcast,
2.
Yeah. Like you were just like writing with like your foot.
Special foot keyboard.
Right. I
Typing with your foot.
I just submitted Mega Dimension Neptunia V2 review. Spoiler alert, not good. And what am I working? I'm just about to start Monumental to review that. That actually looks pretty cool.
Another one from Black Shell Media.
Spoil something for Monumental.
It's in my Steam library. But I have also recently submitted my second case for art, where I discuss how awesome pre-rendered graphics were, because they are awesome.
That should be the whole article.
Yeah,
Is that line.
they
awesome.
are. They were awesome. They're like some of the coolest art direction I have ever seen came from pre-rendered graphics.
Oh, like Resident Evil.
Yeah, like Resident Evil, like Final Fantasy 7 and 8 and 9.
Yes. Yes.
It's just some of like the coolest art pieces. Like you could take out the character models and they could just literally be
Right.
pieces of art.
No, it's real life. I'm like looking at real
Yeah.
life for those Resident Evil
Yeah,
backgrounds for real life.
it's really cool. And then so before that one, because that one evolved into a case for art, I had started another case for art. So I'm going to try and finish that one up at some point. And this is a conversation for a different time, but I really do believe that games should be accepted as artwork.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Not if Roger Ebert has anything to say about it.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if we can gross how much money for 50 Shades of Grey as a film and as a
Great movie.
right, as a film and as a terrible novel, then I think we can make a case for art for video games.
I really need to read that book.
I've
heard things about it, and it just makes me want to read it. That it was written in such a way that it was just kind of, it was written by a middle schooler. That it's just kind of, the sentences just kind of run on, like they don't make any sense.
It's like how,
it's like
yeah.
I really want to read it.
Yeah, no, it was written by a woman. If I'm, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it was written by a woman who wrote this as fan fiction.
Yes.
Yeah, and and I don't know that.
I think
that's
it's it was a fan
Oh,
fiction
that's
of
it?
Twilight.
yeah, something like that. And
It was a fan fiction of Twilight.
my fiance is really curious about some really terrible movies, so we decided to Redbox it one day and got we got about
Sorry.
we got about 30 minutes into it, and it was terrible.
You got about 30 minutes into it.
It's like 2.5 hours long.
Jesus.
Yeah, yeah, it's
I heard they had to like CGI some naughty bits, like some pubes. Had to like either add them or remove them, and on one of the two.
That's
I
weird.
It's just
I don't,
it's a fact.
yeah, it's like one of the most
Google it.
implausible plots. Also,
Yeah. Back to video games.
Yeah.
All right, let's
All right.
let's wrap it up. Let's close it out. Evan, you're gonna do the honors. You get to pick a song to close out the show with. Make it Final Fantasy related. Pick one song. Make it good.
oh, okay.
One Final Fantasy song.
So, can I give you a choice of two, and you can decide, or do you want me to decide?
This is your first show. I want you to pick.
Oh man! All right.
The whole show rests on this decision.
If I had like a TikTok
I could piss
sound
everybody
effect.
off and say "eyes on me."
No, I would edit that out.
All right. I would say the main theme from Final Fantasy VII, but to make amends for my childhood hatred of Final Fantasy IX, let's go with Melodies of Life.
Melodies of Life.
Preferably the piano collections version, but I will be happy with the regular version as well.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Let's close it out with what's it called again?
Melodies of Life.
That sounds sounds romantic.
It is awesome.
All right.
It's very
Yeah, it's a
peaceful.
pretty good song.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Say good night.
Good night.
See you, folks.